call to order the February 20th City Council meeting. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jackie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Evans,
Here.
Vice Mayor Parrish.
Here.
Mr. Velardo.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Ms. Cooper.
Here.
Ms. Chamberlain.
Here. Tonight, we have a special presentation by our city manager, Michael Doss. It's always exciting to see where we are as a city and how far we've come. So tonight is his State of the City. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Doss.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is actually my 7th State of the City. I kind of recall back to my first time doing this for the city of Milford. We did it with Miami Township. At the time, I didn't have much to chat about from an economic development standpoint, so I went with infrastructure. Someone afterwards said, you got to read the room. You're speaking to a chamber of commerce. You got to talk about business, not infrastructure. But infrastructure is my passion. You're going to see a lot of infrastructure here tonight, and actually even the State of the City next year, a lot of infrastructure as we're preparing for some major projects and putting the city in a position in the future for some sustainability as far as economic development, future development is concerned, and just service delivery of utilities that we provide our citizens. So again, it's been a pleasure to serve as your city manager over almost 8 years now. So I thank you all for that. But tonight, we're going to talk about what happened in 2023, all the great things that occurred, and we're looking forward to 2024.
Mr. Doss, sorry to interrupt. Do you want to bring some more chairs up? Do you guys want to sit? Is it? Okay. Do you guys want chairs? You're good? Okay. Right. Sorry.
So from a finance end, it's the engine that makes the city run, all right? Our 2023 annual revenue, that is our utilities, general fund, the entire budget, our annual revenue in 2023 was $8,573,966. If you'll notice in 2023, our annual expenditures were actually up. They were $20,245,932, which is a negative difference of $1,671,966. I want to explain that a little bit. In 2022, a lot of this has to do with 5 Points Landing and our borrowing of money. In 2022, we kind of had an infusion of capital, of cash, if you will, because of the park project. We didn't want to wait 5 years, put money in a savings to pay for the park. Interest rates at the time were actually still pretty good, so we were very fortunate to get in on that. So if you look at 2022, we had a large increase of revenue, a few $1 million. In 2023, obviously, we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. We did our park. We did 5 Points Landing and the expenses that were incurred with that. So that's part of the skewed difference between our annual revenues and our annual expenditures and why that amount is so high. I would be remiss not to mention that over the next 5 years, we will run a little bit of a deficit in our cash fund because now we have to make the payments. It's much like if you take a loan out at a bank. Same thing. You get money up front, you pay for whatever you need to do, and you're making debt service payments. So I just want you to keep that in mind. A few other things, some engineering costs for some of our projects were included in that as well, but I just want you to be cognizant of that mark. The good news, however, is in 2023, our general fund revenue, which is basically everything that's really not a public utility or not parks, was about $7,973,860. And our 2023 general fund expenditures were $6,852,968, which is a positive difference of $1,120,892. I am pleased to report that in 2023, the city's earning tax collection was $5,859,771. This is an increase of $688,038 from the previous year in 2022, a significant increase. Our tax revenue increased by 13.3% in 2023. This is completing a 7-year trend and realizing an average increase each year of 4.2%. So all the development and everything that has occurred in Milford in the last several years, you're starting to see the impact of that now. And you can see throughout from 2017 through 2023, that 7-year trend, obviously that's going up at about 4.2%. Pretty significant bump. from 2022 to 2023. Our most common industries, we'll stress this. A municipality, much like your portfolio at home if you have stocks, you want to have a diversified portfolio so you don't have all of your money in one area. You can apply that a little bit to municipal government. You want to have a very diverse workforce, a very diverse industry. In preparing for, if you're very heavy on light industrial manufacturing, you have a few businesses go out, a few industries go out, it's going to significantly impact your community. It's going to impact them anyway, but if you have a lot of focus on one particular industry, you're going to see that. So you want to diversify, right, as much as you can. Our city of Milford has basically light industrial, food service, professional services, healthcare, retail, administrative support service, and wholesale. Of the top three are our service industry, about 28%, our light industrial at 20%, and our professional and technical services at 18%. This makes up about 2/3 of the employment industry within the city of Milford. Entering 2024, the city continues to budget a general fund reserve of over 6 months of the annual operating revenue. It's actually 6.8 if you want to be specific about it. That's good. Basically, that's telling you that a 6-month period, if for whatever reason something went nuclear in the city and we needed money to operate, we could operate for a little over 6 months and not really have to degrade any of our services during that period of time. In 2023, the city expended $900,513 in public funds for infrastructure projects. We'll talk a little bit about that this evening. And secured outside public funds for about $271,012, or 30% for those projects. Excuse me. Quality of life. Milford's projected unemployment rate is 3.1%. That is compared to 3.8%. Our median household income actually went up quite a bit. You can see in 2017, we had $51,980. In 2023, we had $69,141, which is an increase of 33% over that 6-year period, and this is according to the U.S. Census. In comparison, the Ohio's median household income was $66,990, so actually not doing too bad. The median household income, or the median home values in 2017 were $154,200. In 2023, pleased to report that the median average home value is $211,990, which is an increase of 37.4%. Comparing that to the state of Ohio average, the median home value in the state of Ohio is $183,300. So we're well over the state of Ohio's mark. Quality of life, home ownership versus rental. When we started here, we did our comprehensive plan. One of the things, when Pam Holbrook was here, was we focused on was there was a pretty significant middle ground between home ownership and rentals. And you can see that in 2017, home ownership was 51%, rentals were 49%. In 2023, we're moving that needle a little bit more towards home ownership. You see a 53.6% of home ownership versus 46.4% in home ownership. That is an increase of 2.6 in home ownership over essentially the last 6 years. We want to keep that number up, and I think you're going to start to realize that increase with the addition of the IRE subdivision and the Red Knot subdivision as well, as far as home ownership is concerned. From an economic development standpoint, in 2023, new construction for residential and commercial properties were $7,549,960. We are experiencing more renovations and remodels to existing commercial buildings and residential properties. A significant portion of the overall new construction valuation was, again, in those new subdivisions. Building permit fees, we collected $81,308.97 in building permit fees. That remains steady with previous years and previous marks. Several small businesses made construction property improvements totaling $25,185. We do have a small business incentive program that people and businesses continue to take advantage of in the city, where they will receive up to 50% rebate annually, or a maximum rebate amount of $5,000 for external improvements such as windows, doors, signage, or permanent interior improvements such as HVAC, electrical, or fire protection. So our businesses continue to take advantage of that small business incentive and those improvements to their existing businesses. Economic development. Economic development was a little bit down this year as opposed to previous years. For 2023, we did about $3,250,000 in private, commercial, and light industrial development. That is a new investment, and that is only made by the mark of $250,000 or over. So we did have some commercial and light industrial development and new investment that was under $250,000. You're just seeing what was represented in the $250,000 and above, and you can see those industries right there as noted. Ribbon cuttings, did quite a ribbon cuttings this year, a lot in the area of small business, which is what the city of Milford is about. You can see here, Annie Anmo, correct? Magnify Education, Howard Hanna, Super Green Solutions, Resin Rockers, and Stronger Her. We want to thank all of those businesses for their commitment and their investment to the city of Milford. Again, small business is key for the city, and it's really the machine that makes the city run. Infrastructure and public improvements. We did participate last year in the Claremont County Engineers Paving Program. We were able to pave Winnebago Drive, Cleveland Avenue, Edgecombe Drive, and Beach Street. We realized as a city somewhere between 3 and 5% savings by participating in this pavement program with the Claremont County Engineers Office. Most of that saving was derived from mobilization and bulk asphalt tonnage. The paving of Cleveland Avenue in particular compiled with the paving of Cleveland Avenue compiled with the paving that we're going to do in South Milford in 2024 will complete approximately 70% of Milford's major arterials over the past 6 years. The remaining identified arterials are Garfield, Milford Parkway, and Chamber Drive. What that means is our major arterials, that is our most heavily trafficked areas. And we've got about 70% of those heavily trafficked areas paved, and we look to do those other projects in the coming years. The city does continue to utilize the pavement management study that Kleinger's performed for us several years ago as a method of evaluating, scoring, and prioritizing street projects. Another infrastructure improvement, public improvement that we did in 2023 was the Wallace Avenue, Garfield Avenue water line replacement. This project was funded in combination from the Ohio Public Works Commission funds and ARPA funds. The outsourced funds funded approximately 90% or $1.2 million for the project. The water line project replaces and upgrades both the water supply line and the discharge line from the water tower. These new lines will serve the future of the new Wallace water tower and will provide increased line pressure, service delivery, and meet capacity requirements for future city expansion. We did phase 1 of our 5, the old Milford main site. That, of course, was completed in the fall of 2023. Soft opening that will open up in May of 2024. The total project cost for phase 1 was around $3.1 million. Phase 1 includes restroom facilities, a splash fountain, a farmer's market, which will be opening in May of 2024, meandering sidewalks, a performance landing area, parking, and several areas to sit, relax, and enjoy the outdoors. Phase 1 was funded by residents in support of the levy designed to bring about the creation of a park that would serve as the crown jewel in Milford's park system and provide a gateway between downtown Milford and uptown Milford. 2024 goals and objectives. First thing on everybody's mind is complete the Jim Trail Park canoe and kayak launch. It's been a long time. It's been a lot of red tape. This project, we hope to complete by May of this year, just in time for canoe and kayak season on the Little Miami River. 2024 goals and objectives continuing. We want to complete the engineering design and award the bid for the Wallace Water Tower. This new Wallace Water Tower is a $3 million investment that was funded by the Ohio Water and Wastewater Program and replaces the existing water tower that was placed in service in 1955. The new tower is expected to be completed and in service by 2026. It takes about a year to fabricate. We want to finalize the development of River's Edge and Chamber Drive properties. 7 years ago, there were 11 empty lots down there. Today, only 5 developable lots remain in the entire parkway. There is an expectation that a future development between Target and the Cinemark movie theater will provide enough investment interest to develop the remaining lots and complete the overall development, which began over 24 years ago. Of course, one of our other goals and objectives is to continue participating in the Claremont County Engineers Asphalt Paving Program. We are participating in that this year. I mentioned Milford South as one of the roads that we will be paving this year as well. Continuing on, we want to identify and establish wayfinding signage related to public parking in downtown Milford. Milford continues our existence as a destination location for the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area. Increasing business equates to increased demand for parking and business recognition. Wayfinding will not only improve vehicular traffic flow, but also foot traffic as individuals patronize our downtown business district and visit our rivers and trails. We also want to apply for funding for second phase of Riverside Park Walking Path, which will link Jonas Memorial Park, Riverside Park, and Critchell Park. This will complete a true Riverwalk experience and a long-anticipated recommendation based off the city's master plan from several years ago. It will combine those three parks into a system that will link our business district and also the Little Miami River. Finally, we want to apply for funding for Tyler Avenue and Laurel Avenue stormwater improvements. The city will continue to address stormwater issues in our community. The city intends to apply for Ohio Public Works funding to begin to address long-standing stormwater issues for residents in and around surrounding neighborhoods. Also in 2024, we're pleased to bring back our events. We will have our farmers market, which again, as I've mentioned, will open in May and will go till October. It will be Saturday mornings. We're looking at also a Tuesday evening market open as well. Our summer Saturday nights concert series will be from June to August. A big success this year with people that are shopping and eating and enjoying downtown Milford. Take a little bit of time to enjoy some music as well. Sparks in the Park, of course, we will be starting our 6th annual Sparks in the Park. That, of course, is July 3rd. Fall Festival will be October 5th, and then, of course, we have our tree lighting November the 29th. I want to say in conclusion, the state of Milford is stronger than ever. Increasing tax revenues, commercial and residential property values, and continuous improvement to our public infrastructure will inevitably position the city with a prosperous future for the next generation of Milford residents and families. Thank you, City Council and residents of Milford, for allowing me to serve as your city manager and be part of this special journey over the past 8 years. I'll take questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
I think it's exciting to see all the good news, all the good things happening, and
Yeah.
everything going on in Milford. Awesome report.
Yes.
Everybody's hard work.
Thank you.
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Applause.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Doss. We appreciate that. All right, that takes us to proceedings. Do I have a motion to approve the council meeting proceedings from February 6th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
And that takes us to correspondence. Do we have correspondence, Ms. Bain?
Yes. We have correspondence from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control regarding a transfer of a permit. Looks like Eat Burgers LLC, 714 Lila Avenue in Upper Deck, Milford, Ohio, 45150, from By Gollies LLC, 714 Lila Avenue in Upper Deck, Milford, Ohio, 45150. Do we want to have a hearing?
I make a motion to do nothing.
Second.
My favorite motion.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bain. That takes us to financial statements. Do we have a motion to receive the January 2024 financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
All right, and that takes us to our public comment section. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment? Come on up. Just please state your name and address for the record. You can adjust.
Donna Lucky, 910 Wallace. I got the answer to one question, that their water tower hopefully will be finished in 2026. Do we need to wait till then to get any help on the street repair as it stands right now? Because it's a mess.
I'll turn that to Mr. Dawes. See what he
Yeah,
answers.
there will be some street repair. There is one area that we have to leave open. We'll just have to cover that up because when we go to put the tower online, we'll have to get right back in there to turn it essentially back on. But yes, we do have plans to fix some of that. There won't be a total basically move up in our, if you will, we repair it in 2024, possibly put it on our paving for 2025 just to complete that road because you put a big water line through there, it tears it up pretty significantly. So.
And I would like to commend the group that put in those water lines. Those guys were awesome. Day in and day out. They were friendly, they knew what they were doing, they were considerate. You couldn't have asked for better workers.
Good, it's good to hear.
Good to know.
Good to hear. Yes.
Yeah, shout out, For Development was the company that did that. They actually did some work for us on another project that kind of became an emergency situation a couple Decembers ago, and they were right in there first class. So yeah, I
We had
agree
them in
with you.
for lunch one day.
Nice.
So nice.
Way to be hospitable.
Thanks for all your patience up there. I know that's been a rough road. It still is a rough road.
Next question regarding, of course, we all know everyone's real estate taxes increased. Will Milford see the benefit of any of that? And when will Milford see the benefit of the park levy money?
So the levy is already being taken out of your property tax now. You've probably seen an increase in that. As far as the new valuations, it will not impact the city as much as you think. Unfortunately, from an operational standpoint, not from a taxpayer standpoint, as far as I know, our state representatives are working to get that changed. I think it was us and Butler County who were hit pretty hard with that. So I'd have to yield to Representative Schmidt, who's our representative, and Senator Terry Johnson. They can probably answer your question as far as if there's any relief coming. But again, from our standpoint, we're not going to see that much of a value in that. A lot of that will go to Milford schools, of course.
They won't get much.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the levy is already coming out of
Okay,
your property
all right.
tax.
Last question. The vape smoke shop across from Rally's, did they have to get a permit to paint that on the outside of that building?
Oh, their mural, the big mural that's there?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't remember. That's been up for like a year.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
I'll have to check with Christine Seltzer. They should have got some type of approval from planning commission or someone like that. I don't recall.
It's
Yeah.
just
Anything like that.
obnoxious.
I'll check.
Okay.
Again, if
Yeah, I don't
anyone's,
remember it coming to planning commission. Do you
I
know,
don't,
Mr. Price?
I don't remember that either.
yeah,
Which is a good question, because other murals have,
yeah.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had, I think, every mural in Milford, with the exception of the one we have, out on Worcester.
Yeah.
They have to come. So I'll ask Christine about it, but I'm guessing on its face, no, we didn't get any
And
permission.
the parking lot is just atrocious.
Yeah, we
We
do,
do.
yeah, on the city
Right.
website, you could put
Under
that in.
resident.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
and that'll catch Christine's attention, and she can evaluate or send them a letter or something if.
And then you'll
need
get
be.
copied too, on responses or whatever they do, so that's the other
She's
nice
very
thing.
quick to
Yeah.
respond if you, it's underneath the resident tab.
Okay,
And Donna, you have my email. I know we've exchanged emails before. You can always email me directly,
okay.
look
Thank
into
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public like to make a comment?
Like the Wizard of Oz, they come out.
Welcome,
from-
again, please state your name and address, and welcome.
My name's Mary Kipp. I live at 415 Mill Street. I'm here to address what I call the inadequate River District noise ordinance. We have been, shall I say, subjected to quite a few evenings of music that we feel is beyond what should be an allowed level. My husband, who was a project manager in Indian Hill, has worked with several municipalities establishing a decibel level for sound, and we are unable to sit on our porch or in our backyard and enjoy it because of the level of the noise. And we were hoping that there would be some way to make some changes to the noise ordinance. I've
Any thoughts
approached
or
several
concerns?
times. I've approached council with a letter and some emails and have never gotten any sort of response. I know there have been a significant number of complaints, but the police have explained that there's nothing to be done because they are within the existing ordinance.
Right, I think that, at the time, I was on council at the time, we chose to go by time versus decibel level, partly because I think, and Jamie, you can help me if I'm wrong back there, but I think it's hard for the police to patrol a decibel level, where it's easier to patrol a time.
Well, I'm sure it's much easier, but at the same time, was incredibly unpleasant, and I think there needs to be some changes.
Do you think this is coming from like the new distillery or the brewery or both?
The brewery, I know in the past there have been complaints, but we've had people say that it seemed to become much more tolerable, but what we're talking about right now is definitely the distillery.
Right, the
because
rooftop.
It's right there, and it travels, and we can hear it in our house with the windows closed. So, and again, I know there's been a lot of complaints.
All right. Thank you for sharing your concerns.
Okay.
Anybody else from the public like to make a comment? All right, seeing none, that takes us to the police report. Chief Mills.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. You should have received my January monthly report, but I'll go over some highlights now. In training, all members completed RCIC security training. Sergeants conducted training with their respective squads on swatting responses, and all members completed a policy review and test on our anti-bias police directive. Some notable occurrences by squad. Squad 1 responded to Walmart for a quick change type theft where the suspect left with money and merchandise. Detective Brown was able to successfully identify that suspect and has issued a warrant for their arrest. Squad 2 responded to Lears for a report of theft of alcohol involving 2 unidentified females. Detective Brown was able to subsequently identify both suspects. Squad 3 handled an OVI crash on Mohawk Trail where a utility pole was cut in half. You guys might recall that. The driver was unharmed, however, power was out for almost 10 hours that night. Squad 3 also assisted the Indian Hill Rangers with the crash of a stolen auto following a traffic pursuit. Officer Dennis subsequently apprehended one of the suspects on the bike trail. Squad 3 investigated a vehicle into a house crash on Edgecombe Drive. The investigation revealed that the driver had a medical emergency. Squad 4 officers checked the welfare of a Walmart manager after the Cincinnati Police Department informed us of a swatting call where an employee stated they had shot a manager at an unknown location. Squad 4 officers assisted someone that attempted suicide by intentionally overdosing on over-the-counter medication. In lighter news, some community relations. Squad 1 assisted getting a homeless veteran in touch with resources for sobriety and housing. They also conducted extra patrols at the bike trailhead to prevent smash and grabs. Officers Mel and Clark both received citizen compliments throughout the month of January, and Little Miami Brewery Company provided lunch for officers and staff during Police Appreciation Week. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thanks. That takes us to Fire and EMS. Chief Fair.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to take a couple minutes to share some of the activities going on with the department, starting with at the Weiler Automotive headquarters today, the Cumberland County Fire Chiefs Alliance Fire Investigation Team held its annual conference. They actually expanded it to a 2-day conference this year and welcomed from New Mexico Tech several classes over the next 2 days, today being homemade explosives, awareness, recognition, and response, delivered by instructors from New Mexico Tech, delivering federal training. outstanding, simply outstanding. We're so fortunate to have training like that available to us as first responders and free, which makes it even better. But they'll be back in town again tomorrow. There will be 100 people plus in attendance each day from all over Southwest Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and Southeast Indiana. So it's a very diverse group. We were fortunate to have, I believe, 12 people in there today, and we have a pretty good number of Milford men and women in there tomorrow as well. So I just want to take a minute to acknowledge Weiler Automotive for their generosity for the entire time that I've been in Milford. They've been just nothing but the best to work with, giving us access to their training that they on their own without as guests. They're just the best. They provide drinks, let the participants view the cars in the museum. And they're just really great hosts. And also to Texas Roadhouse for always being great, providing food for conferences like this. Again, this was not one that we hosted other than just as a city. This was the Clermont County. This was the county organization, but they've been equally good to Milford's first responders when we've hosted trainings there as well. I also want to thank the 5th graders from Pattison Elementary who provided Valentine's Day gift baskets to Milford's police officers and firefighters today. And finally, I just want to take a minute. I've been doing this for around 40 years now, and as about half of that time as the chief of a department, either here or back in my days at New Richmond. I've worked with two of the most outstanding village/city managers that you could ever ask for. One of them being Dave Kennedy, who is currently Loveland's, well, really now, longtime city manager, but in my world, he was at New Richmond about the same 26 years that I was there. And just a great economic development and grant-seeking, infrastructure liking city manager or village administrator. The second one's Mr. Doss. Quite frankly, these are the two finest individuals I've ever had the privilege to work with. I think Mr. Doss's outstanding leadership was very much on display on his presentation tonight. And quite frankly, I'll be the one to say it. I think the city owes Mr. Doss a great deal of credit for where it stands today versus 11 years ago when I started here. Not that Milford was bad, not that there was a problem, but sometimes it just takes a spark plug. And I truly believe Mr. Doss has been a credit to this council, no matter what the makeup of this council is, and advocated on behalf of it successfully to bring things like FC Cincinnati and all of the development he's speaking about, the infrastructure improvements. I don't think you know this, Mr. Castile and I know this, that our water system, while is a great water system, it is in a position right now fortunately because of the growth where we really have no reserve. When we have a bad fire, we are taking water that would normally be consumed away from the consumers during that emergency. And if it was not for the emergency tie-ins that were available to the city, there could be times where if we had a very severe fire that other parts of the city would be unserved by the water department just because they didn't have the water to spare. It had to all go to the emergency. So as I've said before to this very group, this water tower improvement is essential, absolutely essential that this be completed, because that safety margin that we desperately need. Bringing this back around to Mr. Doss, as you guys know, I'm very connected to what's going on at the state level and somewhat to the federal level. To be able to go out and get these grants successfully and these low interest loans and the kind of stuff that gives you the type of money that you need to complete these multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects, which is completely not a park. I mean, it's underground or it's ugly, but they're essential to the operation of a city like this. And I think Mr. Doss has done an outstanding job bringing that kind of taxpayer money back to the city in support of the city. That's all I have to say. It's probably too much, but if you have any questions for me.
No?
No, thank
Yeah.
you for your
Thank you for your time.
kind
Very
words.
good
We agree.
points.
All right, that takes us to council comments. Would anybody from council like to make a comment?
Yeah, just echoing what Chief Baird said. Thank
Yes.
you, Mr. Doss, for all you do. I don't think they all realize, yeah.
Yes, appreciate that. All right, and Mr. Pacheco has the night off.
Thank
So
you,
no
Mayor.
new businesses, no ordinances.
Mayor, I'm sorry, it's a chance to grab the mic. Sam Otis is here with me. Sam is one of the prosecutors for the mayor's court. So I wanted to introduce Sam. Sam's with our law firm, and we're just grinding the living daylights out of it, which is so much fun on this side of it. No, I'm just kidding. Sam is a young and well on his way to being an excellent attorney. So thank you.
Welcome. All right, no old business, I don't think either. Does anyone have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Evans?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes. All right, thank you all for coming.